Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. Today we are going to be talking about a movie that I saw not too long ago, and I saw it because it was appearing a lot on Netflix, and I was like, okay, let's watch it. And I liked it. I wanted to make a video about it. So the movie is called Kill Boksoon. Boksoon. I don't know if it's Boksoon or Boksoon. I think it's Boksoon. I saw this movie, I swear, but I now don't remember how you pronounce it. But I'm gonna say Boksoon. It is a pretty long movie. I feel like I have seen longer movies than this one, so it's fine. It's like a little over 2 hours. I saw it at work with no problem, so it's pretty entertaining for the 2 hours, so you won't have an issue with it. And again, it is on Netflix. Let's start with the movie. There we go. The movie started with Boksoon, and she is about to fight a Japanese killer. I don't know if it is a Japanese killer or is a boss of some gang. I really don't remember. I don't have a reading either, but I know the person was Japanese, and she like wants to make the fight fair. So she gives him a sword, and she's using a hatchet, I think it's called. And he's like, oh, you think you can beat me with that? You just gave me a sword, I'm the best one, this and that. So they fight, and then something weird happens because you can see the whole fight, right? And you can see that she's sort of losing the fight, but then it stops and it cuts to her again in a position that she was already in. So I was confused. I was like, okay, wait, did the fight happen? Did it not happen? Because it kind of went back in time that she has powers. No, it's she has been doing this job, which later on they'll explain to you the job. She has been doing this job for so long that she's able to analyze the person in a way that she's able to figure out that other person's next steps. So what ends up happening most of the time is that because she can do that, she does that, they show you that, and then it cuts back to her again in the position that she was before, being like, okay, so I cannot do that, otherwise I will lose. So she has that ability to do that. It's not like a power like I thought. She's just able to do that. She's really good at her job, and she can analyze persons really well, so she's able to do that. So that's what we see. Because she now knows that she's not gonna be able to win because he has the sword that she gave to him, she's like, okay, give me a second, I want to change my weapons. And he's like, okay, go ahead. So she goes to the little truck, and she ends up just killing him with a gun. He's like, this is not fair, and she's like, well, nothing's fair, and that's where she kills him. Later on we can see that she had a pretty tough childhood. We heard that, I don't know, I take it as her dad being kind of aggressive with the way he wanted to teach her lessons of bad stuff that she did, that kind of stuff. But it was a pretty intense childhood, which that's the reason why it's so hard for her to connect with her daughter. She has a daughter, and it's pretty hard for her to connect in the sense that she really doesn't know how to act, what to say when her daughter have problems, or where her daughter is like trying to communicate something. She has a hard time with that. So the whole movie is kind of her doing her job, but at the same time her trying to learn how to be a mother. And it's only her and the daughter. The father is nowhere to be found. Later on we meet a few people that are in the restaurant with her. They all work for the same company organization. I don't even have all of the names of them. Later on we meet one of them properly, but they're all not that important in the movie until very later on in the movie. But they're just there for making you laugh, I guess. Yeah, they're there, and that's for displaying to you the job. So essentially they work for a company organization organization. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna say company, but it is called MK Entertainment. That's what it's called, and it started years ago. Now it is run by Min Kyu, which is the director, and Min Hee is his sister, and she's also a director. So I think he has more power than her, but they kind of run the company together. I'm just guessing. So this company, basically what they do is they get assignments from people that want somebody dead, and they want their dead to be a certain way. So if they wanted to make it look like a suicide, they can do it. If they want to make it like an accident, they do it. Things like that. That's basically what they do. And it was like a pretty global kind of organization, but because some people were taking jobs from other companies, and people were killing underage childs, the kind of business went down a bit. So now that Min Kyu is kind of running it, he decided to put some rules in hopes that all of these people that are taking illegal jobs and killing underage kids go away and have a little bit more structure in the company. So he does 3 rules. The first one is you are never to kill anyone underage. The second one is you will only take on shows sanctioned by your company. And the third, you must attempt shows sanctioned by your company. Oh yeah, okay, so later on, this is kind of like a big portion, not a big portion, it is divided, but I'm just gonna talk about it together. Later on we figure out that Yeon, which is Boksoon's daughter, that's her name, is gay, because we see her kissing a girl that is her friend, and then later on other friends come with their old boys. These other guys come, they're in school by the way. But yeah, these other guys come with their other friends, and they're kind of like, oh wait, we have to stop, you know, they really don't want anybody to know that they're a couple, in a sense. So yeah, this is important because later on in the movie, Boksoon is called from the school saying that her daughter almost kills somebody, and it is one of the guys that we saw before. And then later on we figured out that it is because this guy was, which I don't even have his name, but he was basically blackmailing Yeon, because he has been in love with her for a long time, and she doesn't really pay attention to him for obvious reasons. So he has a picture of her and the other girl kissing, and he's blackmailing her, being like, I just need you, I'm not going to show anybody this picture, just have to date me for a month, and then after that I will dump you in front of everybody, so that makes me feel better. Otherwise I will show this picture to everybody. And of course Yeon doesn't want that. Then the other girl actually appears, they're in a classroom alone. The other girl even appears, and she's talking to Yeon, being like, just do it, it's just a month, nothing's gonna happen, I don't want my parents to know, they're gonna be mad at me, everybody's gonna hate me, I don't want that, please do it. So this kind of makes Yeon, of course, feel bad for her, but then the other guy is talking to her, she gets mad, and she takes scissors and stab him on the neck. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around here, and I think there's a vein here that shouldn't be stabbed, I don't know about anatomy and all that, but she stabs him here with the scissors. That's why they expel her from the school and everything at some point, because of that. So of course this whole thing Boksoon doesn't really know how to deal with because she's trying to make her daughter kind of tell her what's happening. The daughter doesn't want to, and then later on some point the daughter tells her, and again she doesn't really know how to deal with the reason why the daughter attacked the guy, and the reason her daughter being gay. She doesn't know. Again, that whole parenthood for her is very hard, and she's having troubles. She's doing a decent job, you know, when the daughter tells her, you can see that she's confused, but she's doing her best. There's another character that we meet that is kind of important. Her name is Yeonji, and she's one of the two new trainees in the company. Boksoon is going there, place for the train with Minhee, and Minhee presents her Yeonji because Minhee wants to make Yeonji the new Boksoon, because the contract for Boksoon is coming to an end, and she is also thinking about not renewing the contract, and that is a whole nother thing. But Minhee wants to make Yeonji the next Boksoon and even better. So they do end up fighting, Yeonji and Boksoon, and you can kind of, you know, at some point Yeonji is like gonna win because she ends up kind of hurting Boksoon. They're using markers to kind of make it look like they hurt the other person, but Boksoon still wins. Either way, Boksoon and Yeonji end up doing a job together. Boksoon was with the director Minkyu, and there were 2 assignments. Also, another thing I didn't explain, they're divided, the workers are divided by class, so class A, class B. I don't know how many classes. I don't think they explained that properly in a way that you could understand it at some point. But Boksoon is in class A, and Minkyu is the director is in class A, and they're talking and they're picking assignments, and Boksoon ends up picking the easier assignment, and Minkyu was kind of confused, but he's like, okay, I'll take the other one, which the other one was in Russia, so he ends up going there. And in a way, this job that Boksoon took, she ended up doing it with Yeonji, because experience on field. So what was the job? The job was killing a boy, which he wasn't underage, he was legal age. But it was killing a boy and making it look like suicide by leaving a note and everything. But while they're in their place, Boksoon realizes that the little guy is the son of a senator. Now, this senator has been, how do you say it? It has been in the news a lot because people are accusing the son of, what are they accusing him? Of committing fraud, like being admitted to college by fraud, like some music college, something like that. And of course the senator is like taking all the blame for it. So we can guess that the senator was the one that wanted his son dead and make it look like suicide. So I'm guessing he can be a good father and cry in front of the camera so people will pity him. That's my reasoning. So when Boksoon figured this out, she reads the suicide letter. They aren't supposed to read anything, they're just supposed to do the job and done. But because she did, and she realized it was the son, she couldn't finish the job. She called the director and be like, I cannot finish the job. Yeonji even lies at some point, saying that it was her fault because he woke up because she didn't measure the gas that they used to make him fall asleep properly. I don't know. Boksoon doesn't finish the job, which of course is not good because they're supposed to attempt every job that is given by them, by the company. That's one of the rules. Later on we also figure out why Minkyu is obsessed in a way, or in love, I don't know how you want to call it, with Boksoon. Essentially, years ago, Minkyu had an assignment to kill a guy, which ended up being Boksoon's dad. And I'm guessing he had to make it look like suicide because he had him hanging out with a rope, but he was on top of a chair, so he really wasn't killing still. But Boksoon, young Boksoon, appear and she's there, and of course Minkyu cannot kill her because she's underage, and he really doesn't know what to do, and she ends up taking the chair up, so the dad now is dying, like he's hanging for his life, and she's looking at Minkyu being like, now you can do anything to me, I did it, so now I'm part of this. And Minkyu is looking at her with this obsessed loving eyes. She's underage, by the way. At this point she's underage, so that's like the first time that he kind of felt this love and obsession in a way, I guess. And that's why he's so connected, not just so obsessed with her, and with her not leaving the company and having her close. He even lets her have the child, so the show that she has now, the girl. We go back to the restaurant, the first restaurant that we see, where everybody is there. And now Jeonji is there because she got kicked out of the company because of the whole son job thingy from the senator, whatever. And there, Hin Sung, this is one that we have seen before. They do mention his name. He's really not that important in a way. He is good at his job, but the thing is, he's not even in class A, and people know it's because he does illegal jobs, and that's why they don't raise him in the ladder from the class that he already is. But at this point, in this part of the restaurant, he's in class A, I think. Not, yeah, he's in class A now because he finished the job that Boksoon couldn't do, which was kill the senator's son. And of course, people there are kind of confused. They're happy but at the same time confused because they know he did, or he was doing illegal jobs, or he's doing illegal jobs. Min he actually calls him, I think it is. I don't know if Min he calls him because the whole thing was planned by Min Hee, so he's now following Min Hee's orders. But I think, I don't know if it is that she calls him or he calls her, and Boksoon puts the phone on speaker, and at some point Min Hee said, okay, everybody that is in the restaurant, if you end up killing Boksoon, you will be raised to class B, I think. And the guy that runs the restaurant was in the company, he isn't anymore, so he's like, oh, even for us that are not in the company, I mean, he's like, yeah, of course. So you can imagine what happens after, right? A bloodbath. That's what happens. A bloody bath. Everybody is fighting Boksoon to kill her, and Jeonji is the other one that isn't. She ends up helping Boksoon kill everybody, but it is quite hilarious because you may think this is going to be a very serious scene because they're all friends and they're trying to kill her and they know she's very good at it. No, they're laughing. The guy that runs the restaurant is the first one to die. They're laughing. They're having fun. I think 2 more die after the guy that runs the restaurant, and they're laughing. They're like, oh my god, I died by your hands. It was good fighting you and die. And I'm here like, I was laughing, but at the same time I didn't know if I could laugh. I was confused because again, they're all laughing like nothing. And it's a bloody bath, like they're all dying. They're all dying. And at the end they all die. I mean, his son actually was in love with Boksoon. Boksoon is the one that kills him. But yeah, they all die and Boksoon and Jeonji goes out alive. Boksoon calls the company to kind of clean the place. Because Boksoon killed people from the company, everybody at the company is angry at her. The director Min-kyu actually appears there, you know, making her realize what she did bad or something. We also saw later on that he actually killed Jeonji because she was a witness, and again he's trying to protect Boksoon, so that's why he kills Jeonji, so there is no witness of what happened there. Even though Jeonji was like, I'm good at lying, I can do this, he still kills her. So after all of this bloody bad that happened in that restaurant, 2 things are happening at the same time. So first off, Min-kyu is having like a reunion, I'm guessing with all of the people that have companies in this organization, I'm just guessing. But of course all of these people are angry at Boksoon because she killed essentially workers from their company and they want to get revenge and whatever, and the director is all the time trying to protect her, being like, that's not necessary, we're gonna deal with it, there's no need for her to be here, there's no witness, you know, trying to protect her. So there is this guy that goes gets out of the table and stands up beside Min-kyu and takes off a knife, I think it is that he takes, and says something, and this makes Min-kyu flip a switch of anger and It's the only way I can describe it. And he takes the guy and takes him on top of the table and start hitting him until he's dead. And he's like saying all of the rules, and then he adds a fourth rule, which is you don't even draw weapons during a secret meeting. And the guy's already dead on top of the table, and he says that he's like, everybody got it, and the people are just going away, like running for their lives, like, this bitch is crazy, let's all get the fuck out of here. That's what happens. The other thing that is happening sort of at the same time of all of this is Minhee and Boksoon are in the office, and Minhee's you know, making Boksoon sign the contract, because one of the things that Minhee said to Boksoon was, if you want me to protect you, you have to stay in the company, so you need to renew the contract. So Minhee was with Boksoon for that. Later on we see that Boksoon kills her with a knife, like a tiny knife. And when she's coming down from the office, we see that Minhee is dead, she gives the knife to the reception guy and being like, give this to Minhee. And the reception guy starts freaking out, like, oh my god, oh my god. The reason why he's freaking out, they explained this I think before, I don't remember. Before, in the past, when you wanted to challenge somebody to a duel until dead, essentially, until one of them died, you give the other person a bloody knife, and then the other person that receives this bloody knife is the one that decides when and where the whole fight was going to happen. So by her doing this, she was challenging Minhee to a duel, to, you know, one of them was going to end up dying. To end this movie, we are at the endish at this point. Fight between Minhee and Boksoon happens, and again, Boksoon is able to figure out the next steps. Minhee is wearing gloves because one of his hands is hurt because of the whole knife situation at the reunion part. So he's wearing gloves, so Boksoon doesn't know which hand is hurt. And they're sitting in front of each other, there's a table and there are two knives. And Boksoon is, again, analyzing the steps. And there's a bunch, it's like a whole slow-mo scene of them fighting different ways that you can see both of them at the same time. You know, it's like they're here, and it's just her analyzing every step, and every step she is dead. Like, all the options that she saw, she's the one that dies, essentially. And he's like, oh, you cannot figure your next steps, you can't figure out what I'm gonna do next, you can't figure out which hand is hurt. So what ends up happening is she ends up taking a knife, he takes the other one, he flips back on the chair, and she attacks him with the knife, but the hand that he's holding the knife is the one that is hurt. So I'm guessing he couldn't hold on to it well because of that, so the knife slips out of his hand and she takes it and kills him. So she wins. You know, that's the thing that she had to do to win. But then he tells her, like, hey, your daughter is watching this, because he sent the daughter an iPad and there was a camera, and it was for the daughter to see the fight, because the daughter didn't know, she doesn't know about the job that Boksoon did. So this makes Boksoon angry. She goes home, the daughter is sleeping, and Boksoon is like crying. But it's not really shown properly, at least I don't think so. If I missed it, I did. But it's not shown properly if the daughter did have that iPad and saw the fight, or if she didn't. So, you know, you don't know what type of cry Boksoon has, if it's one of relief or if it's one of worry. But she goes there. It cuts, and then after the credits, there's actually a little bit of a scene where Boksoon is working on their inside garden. I'm guessing it's a garden, but it's inside the house, and the TVs are running with the news, and it's saying about the senator from the beginning of the movie that is dead, and it is suicide, and they're all saying that he probably committed suicide because their son is dead. we all know that it's probably not true because of the whole companies that we know work for this kind of things. And then we see the daughter, Jaejeon, going to school. She's expelled from the school, but she wanted to say goodbye to the girl that she was kissing, and she hugs her and she's like, what does he say? Wait, what does she's hugging her, and she said to her, I thought about kissing you here in front of everybody or killing her in the back of the school. It was something like that. Whatever she said, it made the girl laugh. It made her happy. So it meant something. And then the daughter just walks out of school with the other student getting out of class, and she's smiling, happy, and done. That's fully how it ends. I honestly just saw it because a lot of people were saying it's good, and because it was recommended so much on Netflix. I saw, when I finished watching The Glory, the second part, this movie came out so much as recommended that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna watch it because people are saying it's good. I'm just gonna watch it. And I think it is a good movie. It's very bloody, but it's good. I honestly wasn't expecting that much from it, even though people were saying it's good. I still wasn't expecting that much. I think all of that, I don't know too much about the actors, but they're all pretty good. I feel like they all did a very good job. And some of the things were a little bit hard to figure out, at least for my brain, but overall it was pretty good. I don't really expect a second season for this one, you know, honestly. Not a second season, but like a sequel, I guess I should say it. I don't expect one, because I feel like everything was explained properly, so I don't think there's, except for a few things, like the class things, well, I feel like it wasn't explained properly. So that was the only thing that kind of was confusing to me. But overall, everything was explained, everything was kind of figured out and deal with. So I don't think it's gonna be a sequel. But I was kind of researching to see if Netflix has said something about a sequel. I didn't see anything. A lot of articles that I was reading were saying that if there's a second a sequel for it, it might focus on the daughter. A lot of people were also saying that most probably Jaejeon actually see the video of the mom fighting, and maybe the sequel involves her kind of trying to become the mom, or probably will have to do with her and the father, because that's another thing. Throughout the whole movie, they never mentions I forget her name, Jaejeon father. Nowhere they mentioned her father, unless it was like indirect mentioning and you had to figure out who was the father. They never mentioned fully the father, really. It could be Minkyu, it could be Hassan at this point, but they never mentioned the father. So maybe again the sequel had to do maybe the sequel had to do with the daughter and the father, and maybe Boksoon as well. So I don't know, maybe if there's a sequel again, I would feel like it would have to be focused on the daughter. Maybe her trying to become like their mother, something about the father or something. But again, if I don't think there was anything that wasn't resolved with this movie that could apply to a sequel. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing great, taking care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.